Meeting is called to order for the Orange Township Board of Zoning Appeals for September 16th, 2021. Brett, would you call roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Treves?
Yep.
And Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
All present.
Thank you. We're going to have a swearing of witnesses. Anyone that intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State "I do," and when it's your turn offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in. The first application is VA 2110. Also on the swearing in, Brett and Jeff, from the legal training, it is required that Orange Township officials be also sworn in. So if you would, when you do talk, do swear that I affirm. And also, please turn on cell phones. Brett, please.
Okay. I do affirm that I was sworn in. Starting with the staff report for variance case VA-21-10. The applicant is Builderscape Easy Living Pools, and the owner is Amanda and Jeff DeLay. Sorry. The subject property is 5325 Meadowbend Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035. Parcel ID 318-210-06-002-000. The current zoning for the property is single-family planned residential district, and they are they're seeking an area variance from the Orange Township Resolution Section 21.05C to allow for a fence less than 5 feet in height to enclose a swimming pool. The subject property is located east of Meadowbend Drive. They, again, are requesting an area variance from the Orange Township Zoning Resolution, Section 21.05, to allow for a fence less than 5 feet in height to enclose a swimming pool. The surrounding area is all single-family planned residential district, and surrounding them are all single-family residences. Up on the screen, you can see some zoomed-out aerials and zoomed-in aerials using the auditor's website, showing the subject property there. And then moving on to staff review, there inside the staff report is the part of the code talking about the fence height requirements. The fence height proposed is 4 feet in height. The applicant is requesting a 1 foot variance to allow for the fence to be less than the required 5 feet in height. This is a 20% request from the Orange Township Zoning Resolution, Section 21.05. On Exhibit 1 shows the site plan showing the location of the fence. So you can see that up on the screen there. Also provided in Exhibit 2 were some fence details. These photos were submitted by the applicant. And then also some site photos from Google Street View and Google Satellite. Also wanted to point out that staff had received a couple inquiries from neighbors. Both of the ones that I had spoke to were in favor of the request. One of them was the one that wrote the conditional approval letter from the HOA. Also included in the materials were the safety cover details for the pool as well. And the applicant and owner are here tonight if they would like to come up and speak, say anything.
Please.
My name is Brian Griffith. I swear to tell the truth and confirm. I work for a pool company called Easy Living Pools. It's located at 7500 Industrial Parkway out of Plain City. The Beehive family approached us, and of course with Orange Township we know the rules well, that there's a 5 foot fence required. However, in this instance, There is a full perimeter fence that is existing that the DeHive family has put some investment in. But you may also note that there are, I believe, 4 other neighbors that share their property line, so it's kind of a shared fence that's been built to their HOA standard of 4 feet tall roughly. So all of this is very interconnected. One of the things that the DeHive family is kind of looking at is that if they were to replace that fence, it'd be quite costly to do the demolition and disposal as well as the installment of that fence, not to mention the kind of untangling and request of, okay, whose portion of fence, perimeter fence is whose with all the different neighbors. They've had considerable conversations with the HOA as well as, I believe the president is one of their neighboring properties. And so there's been a request to go for this variance to try and keep the existing fence. And one of the things that the DeHive family have done to try and mitigate this especially is they're including they are very expensive, an automatic pool cover. This one is built by CoverStar. It is UL ASTM rated and meets the state of Ohio code requirements for barrier. And I believe Delaware County does accept, of course, they accept it as well. In some instances, of course, it's filtered down to the townships and municipalities from there. But they're hoping that with the blessing of their HOA as well as the installment of this very costly safety cover, which is on a 4-digit control. That's not just a light switch that opens and closes it. It actually has a 4-digit code to it. That they might be able to mitigate this, and the cost of lots of fence is instead going into this piece rather than them having to do fence within the fence or other type of mitigations.
Is this what is considered like a hard cover?
It is the track system is placed on, it is an in-ground fiberglass pool. The track system is installed directly on the shell, and then the coping is installed over top of that. So it's not a surface mount track system. There's no kind of prying yourself under this. It is flush to the surrounding pool deck. There's a vault that has a motor and a mechanism that rolls this and opens and closes this. But it is made out of vinyl. It does hold 800 plus pounds. It's kind of like walking on a 1970s waterbed. But you literally can walk right out onto it safely. And typically people, because this is pretty much kind of like a garage door opener for your pool, you're able to open it very quickly, have your swim, which I know they have small children, so they're always going to be there supervising their children during it. But what's nice is even if you go to lunch, you close it up and it's secure, and you don't even have to worry about it when you don't have eyes on the pool, and you just open it back up.
And much like a garage door, it's coded, so it's a 4-digit code.
Correct.
So does it comes like 2 pieces or just 1 piece? Or?
It is one piece of vinyl, and there's basically like an aluminum 2x4 that goes from the deep end, and it closes across the entire area of the pool, and it's just one big rolled out sheet of vinyl, and it's a very high grade vinyl, kind of like a plastic tarp, but even higher density. And then when you open it up, there's a mechanism that just rolls it open, and so you're able to kind of secure your pool this way.
I'm sorry, I was not very much aware of the system, so I have one more question. So the vinyl covering, the first layer, that's the first, like a door, right? Is it going to come on the top of the pool or like?
It's underneath the pool coping.
Coping. Oh.
Yes. So there's actually we install kind of a bullnose brick coping, and then the track system is underneath that, and then there's the pool shell. So you won't see the cover runs in like a track system underneath the bullnose coping, and that way there's no prying your way underneath the cover. There's no the cover doesn't sit on top of the concrete. It's actually integrated into the construction of the pool. I have a picture on my phone that I can let you to understand it better.
No, I got that part,
okay.
But so Is it like anything like a sensor or something, it stops, or it's like going to go close fully? Every time when you close, it's going to
Oh,
go.
yeah, the way that they work is, by code, you have to have your controller where the code is, within the line of sight of all the entire pool, and you put in the code, and then you hold the button as it opens or closes, so that you're personally monitoring the use of that. There's no, just press the button and it zips. You actually are manually kind of looking at it while you operate the code.
So you have to keep holding the switch until it closes fully.
And it opens fairly quickly, and then it closes at a ridiculously slow speed, so that you're paying attention to as it closes that, there's no one in the pool.
So it's an intentional act. You know,
You can't
you're
open this
manually
one.
sitting there controlling.
I have a question, not about the cover or the pool itself. Brett, would you go back to the pictures?
What pictures?
I'm looking for
These ones?
these. It appears that there's a swing set, play set, and is there a fence between the play set and the pool?
So the place that is within your property? Yes. Okay. The self-locking gates that you're referring to, or self-latching, are these going to be locked in conjunction with the pool cover, or is this something that you personally would have to have a lock or of some type that you would put in to prevent kids, for an example, for easy access?
Those are Magna latches, so they automatically, when the gate closes, they're auto lock. I have the same thing on my fence pool, so the gate can't stay open unless you're holding it open, and it automatically closes and latches. It's a magnetic latch.
Okay, is this, please introduce yourself.
Yes, Jeff T. Hutt, 5325 Donovan Drive. I swear to tell the truth. Yes, we
Okay.
have the self-closing that latches automatically with the gates. Because there's a gate on either side of the house that leads to the backyard, so it's permanent access for the back there.
Okay.
That fence is pool compliant completely. I mean, it's, aside from the fact that Orange Township requires 5 feet and it's only 4 feet, the rest of it is completely pool compliant.
There's a statement in here that the HOA approved. Has a letter been received as part of the file? I didn't see that. That the HOA
Yeah, it should have
approved.
been included in the application form that they had submitted, I believe.
There's 2 of them. There's one that, it basically says that if the zoning board, if the,
Yeah, it's conditional
then it's
approval.
approved.
Yeah.
It's conditional based upon.
We're approving these.
Is there any other comments from the audience? Any other comments from the board?
I have nothing. It's a 4-foot fence. It's a foot shorter than Orange Township requires that they have an automatic lock and safety cover on it.
Yeah, but, we have already been allowing this setup.
Exactly.
Just because you've got the safety cover in place, and a fence, you can't protect other people and their kids 100%.
Correct, yeah.
You're doing everything that you can, in my opinion. So I'll make a motion to approve VA-21-10 as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mr. Oster to approve variance application 21-10, seconded by Mr. Miller. Those voting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs,
Yes.
and Ms. Sundar.
Yes,
Motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you
Enjoy.
very much, appreciate it.
Next case would be CU 2111.
I believe Mr. Beard will be presenting this application tonight.
All right, the next case is conditional use case CU-21-11. The applicant and owner is Evan and Jody Eshelman. The site is 292 West Orange Road, Delaware, Ohio, 13015. Parcel ID number 318-233-04006-000. Zone Farm Residential District. We're seeking conditional use from Orange Township zoning resolution section 24.03 to allow for an addition to an existing two-car garage. The subject property is located on the north side of West Orange Road. The site is currently owned by Evan and Jody Eshelman. Once again, they're proposing a conditional use to allow for an addition on an existing garage in a farm residential district. Surrounding areas are all zoned farm residential district. To the north is farm residences. South is open land at Orange Road. The other east and west are also residences. You provide with a zoomed out aerial of the site and a zoomed in aerial of the site. For the staff review for section 24.03 is part of the non-conforming lot. This lot is a non-conforming lot in use currently, so we have to follow that section. 24.03 is an enlargement. This will be actually under E. A non-conforming use shall not be extended by more than 50% of the size of the non-conforming use that existed at the time of the passage of the zoning resolution. There is an email that was attached. As when I reviewed some of the items, got a little confused on the numbers that they had listed. So we have some clarification by Mr. Eshelman, and the additional square footage will be 958 square feet, which is roughly 39% of what the original square footage of the house plus the garage, which that total will be 2,408 square feet originally, and then this will be adding 958 square feet, which is roughly 39%. Exhibit 1 is the site plan that shows the existing house, and it has an outline of the existing garage with the addition. Exhibit 2 is the site plan overall site layout, showing his lot along with the proposed addition. I have site photos from Google Satellite and also Google Street View. We have more full screen of the plans. Were provided as part of the application. Also have the email that Mr. Eshelman had provided. And that is all that I have for now. And just for the record, I did not receive any calls or emails or complaints or anything about this from any of the neighbors.
Mr. Beard, quick question from a legal standpoint. Garages typically are not considered part of square footage of a home, nor does a patio.
Well, this is attached to the house as part of the overall square footage of the building footprint. Since it's attached, they do have the 440 square feet.
I think you're talking about for taxing purposes.
No, it's considered from a livable standpoint. Square footage of a livable home would be garages, and basements are not considered square footages unless it has either an egress or it's a part of the living space.
This is adding living space, I think.
Well, part of it is.
Part of it,
Do you want to come up and
square
speak?
foot.
Please.
Well, not that much, but part of it.
I'm Devin Eshelman at 292 West Orange Road. It's very tell the truth and all that. So the question that we're working through right now is, inside of the space, so the new garage area being 1,278 square foot, inside of that space, we're gonna be adding a mudroom and bathroom off the kitchen. So that's where the living area comes into play.
Okay.
We're discussing here.
But that's part of the 1,000 square feet.
It's part of the 1,278 square foot of new garage, which is an enlargement of, I don't know the math in front of me, of, if we have the new space is entirely, including the living space, is 1,278 square feet. The existing garage is 434. So you're looking at total additional area, is that 1,040 square feet, I believe? Yes.
Can I ask a question? You're non-conforming on the right side of this currently, right?
Neither side is conforming to the current 75-foot side yard setback.
But that was based on zoning. When it was approved, it was fine, but not based on today's conforming.
A lot of these old ones that are non-conforming were there before zoning was in place.
That's my
Right.
point.
So even with that zoning, it still might have not been compliant back then.
So the living space is, you said like mudroom and then the living space?
Yeah, if you see the plans here,
Right there, those two.
can I step up to the screen?
Right there, absolutely.
Just don't touch.
It'll move.
Oh, it's on smart board, yes. So what you have right here, this is the existing house right here, and this is the existing garage right here. So what you have is the kitchen right here. So we're gonna add a little walk-off area to transition from the garage to the house. So you have a mudroom and a bathroom. Just having another bathroom there towards the outside made sense for us. So yeah, so inside of this entire new area, which was the 1,040 square feet, is this 120 that we want to put inside of the area.
So about 13, 14%. The back part of that, though, is an extension of the garage.
Correct. You got the existing garage right here, so you go a little bit wider and well back, which will, right now there's kind of a paver patio right here, which shows in a picture in the prior page a little bit.
And what is the measurement of the easement right now to the existing garage? I failed to find that
That wasn't in there.
easily.
It's not in the drawing.
I mean, there's so much math that was missing in this.
Well, I guess the big thing I look at is that based on the Exhibit 2, which shows the existing garage, the addition of the mudroom area, and then the extension of the garage, your lot is 415 feet deep. So you've got plenty of room to go to the back. The setback, side setback would not be changing at all. So in my eyes, that would be conforming based on the existing structure. And that it's that because of the depth of the lot, you're not changing anything on the side setback at all. You're just basically extending your garage.
Oh, I thought the side setback was definitely changing.
No.
Right,
No.
that's the way he has it,
Look.
yeah.
That's not. Is it changing?
Yeah, by
Or is it
6,
Absolutely.
8 feet.
The
Oh, it's
existing
coming out.
garage
That's right.
is this little thing here with the dotted lines.
I mean, that's like 8 feet, it is.
Okay, you see this right here? This is the existing garage with the dotted
I
lines.
misread that.
Well, the thing is I kept looking for the math.
It's this piece right here.
Okay, well, what is the measurement from the existing garage right now to the side? You know,
And that's the piece.
how
that's-
far off of that are we as far as what's there? And it's supposed to be what, 25 foot?
Yes, right now it's 15 and a half,
Right now with the existing garage,
yes.
It's how much?
15 and a half.
So you'd want to go from 15 and a half to 7 and a half, basically.
No, I gotta say, it's, your additional.
8 feet.
Almost 8,
Yeah,
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 7 3/4 feet.
not 10.
The current garage on the, I don't have page numbers on it, but on the next page, we're scrolling through.
There you go.
Has the current width of the garage at,
Can you expand that, Jeff, please? Or enlarge that
15.5.
and scroll, there you go, good. Can you go a little bit further?
That's 15.5 feet.
yeah,
For the current
Yeah,
garage.
it's right there.
yeah, and with,
Well, that 15 and a half feet is to the proposed garage.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
line is
right.
drawn from here to here.
So you're gonna add another 7.5 feet, because it's roughly 5 1/4 plus the 2 foot of the sidewall of the garage. It's got a 2 foot inset, so. Am I not clear?
Okay,
Sorry.
I think,
From the existing garage wall to the proposed new garage is approximately 7 3/4 feet.
no, the current, to restate. the
Do you
current
have any of
garage-
this math in writing that we can look at? I mean, that's where I'm at. We have nothing to really show what you want to do, what the accurate measurements are. And I'm not comfortable with doing anything by word of mouth.
Well, I measured it based upon the scale and what was laid there, because it's been reduced to get it to fit to the page, and I totally understand that. But I did some rough measurements and I came out, who's running the, go down a little bit more. Right. Now, from the existing current outside wall of the left side of the garage, go over a little bit, no, to
No,
the
the
right.
the other way, there you
To the
go.
left, I'm sorry.
The double line.
Yeah, there's 2 foot there, then from that 2 foot to the existing garage wall is approximately 5 3/4 feet. So that's 7 3/4 feet from the existing garage wall to the new garage wall.
What you're looking at, the 2 feet, is the edge of the corner of the garage to where the garage door opener, or garage
Yeah.
door opener would be.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
there's nothing else on there, so that's why you had to take some measurements.
Do you have a better measurement plan or anything with you? Like an email or something?
Not with me.
So,
To summarize, it's not dimensioned very well on the previous page. It's 15 and a half feet, current garage wall to current lot line. I'm asking to build to 10 feet from the current lot line rather than 15 and a half.
normally we look at the setback as well as the percentage of square footage in this case. And that's why we're going back and forth on this.
You know, one way to look at this as well is that if this is approved, it would be, we could approve it based on the condition of it meeting X criteria,
Yeah,
if it's approved.
right.
So that's one of the protections that we do have.
So otherwise, we are okay with extending the other side, right? Like towards,
You mean front to back?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's
Front
under-
to back is,
Yeah.
Under the 50%.
huh?
It's under, the total line is under the
Right, right, the
50%.
total
So
has
that
to
part
be
isn't
under
the
50.
issue. Right, it is under 50. So that part's
Yeah.
not the issue, is moving over closer to the.
Right, and
The
you're,
side setback.
and you're already 10 feet too close right now. And you're gonna move it over even further into where you're not supposed to be. And that's, well, I couldn't get any clear math off any of this stuff, and, you know, and,
The current garage, the way it is now, is it wide enough to fit two cars in it? I mean, the wider, is it wide enough to fit two cars perfectly?
No. When I park my pickup truck and our SUV in there,
So it's not big enough?
I'm only parking one vehicle in there right now.
We put the plans and measurements in this room, tool here that we have. So from here to the edge of the new garage is just about 6 feet. Based on that 2 feet, that's only 4 feet there.
That's only 4 foot? Okay.
Which is what he said, which is, and he's got 15.5 going to 10, so it's within 5 inches of what he said. So if you got the 6 feet, and you got 15.5 going to 10.
yeah, we still don't have anything that's
No,
really.
I don't disagree.
That's really documented on.
Right.
Where I want to put my name on, oh, okay, let's go on with this.
Right.
Again, we can,
I don't disagree with that.
So you haven't had anybody, is there another, is this the company that's doing it, the Garage Edition?
This was designed by professional architect Ron Dan Design.
Man, okay, it's, you know, and I don't, yeah, I saw that, and I don't want to blast him, but I thought, man, this is a terrible job for us. I mean, it might be fine for you, for what you want to know and what you're doing, but for us to look at it with current measurements and then revised measurements, you know, because you've got all the room in the world to go behind the house and do all kinds of stuff, but
the challenge would be if he extended it strictly to the back, then he'd have to move one car to get the other car out. Jeff, what was the figures again, please, that you just?
That was almost 6 feet.
Almost 6 feet that they're widening, but the other plans, it is 15 and a half. It will be 15 and a half from their property line. So that measurement is correct.
so the new will
Be at 15.5 feet.
So right now it's 20 something.
Right now, it would be
23 and a half.
So they're getting,
21.7 or something, and it's gonna go to, it's gonna be roughly 15.7, so.
okay.
Yeah.
And that was one point I was trying to get to when I was going through this a couple of days ago was, you know, I was having a hard time figuring, okay, the existing garage, he should have had, this company should have had, okay, well, right now you're at 21.6 or wherever you are, clearly marked out on this thing. And then we're going to go over this far to put you at 15.5 because that really wasn't even clear to me.
Brent, would you slide to the right? It looks like we've got a setback of 20 feet, that dotted line. You'll have to scroll up, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they have that setback as 20.
That was my question.
And that might have been, I think there was maybe a subdivision that was part of this years ago that the setback for 20, but we can't enforce that.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the house on the right side, on the east side of it, is well within that 20-foot setback also.
Yeah.
Of the existing.
I was just curious why it was a 20-foot setback at that point.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I looked at before when we first looked at it was, and I didn't do the math, but the 15.5 feet from the new garage to the property line. But you're right, it doesn't read well.
At all.
No, at all.
At all. I mean, I went through it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't get to where I needed to go to vote one way or another as far as, okay, where are we really?
Yeah.
And, fortunately, what you got is what you've got, and, you know, clearly nobody's gonna come after you for, okay, what our side setback is now. But going forward, you know,
As I said, if it is approved, it could be approved with the condition that the 15.5 foot side setback would have to be adhered to. If we agreed it based on
That's what's on the plan, but
the plans, correct?
That's,
right,
that's not, right now, the current garage is 15.5 feet from the side, from the lot line. Sorry, kind of the setback, may not be understanding.
No,
Side setback.
Go from the lot line because we don't know what the.
From the lot line to the current garage, 15.5 feet. I'm asking to build to 10. I think we got a little sideways there with the math. And I don't know about that. Go.
you're asking for,
From 15.5 to 10.5.
Bingo, yes.
oh, you're wanting 10 foot.
Yeah.
Oh, then the documentation isn't right. Jeff just said it was at 15.5.
In the description of the project, second paragraph, I know we've got pictures that there's some questions about the documentation on the plans. Current garage is situated within the westernmost wall, 16 feet, 15 feet 15.5 feet from the west lot line. Proposed construction would extend to 10 foot from the west lot line.
exactly. I don't know.
Mr. Beard, you said that there was no response from neighbors?
Correct.
Either for or against?
Correct.
Because it looks like all those houses are probably set right there at that 20,
Pretty much.
22 foot, you know.
Especially the left side house, the bigger one, 2 floors.
Have we readjusted anything in this area through Orange Township since everybody obviously was working on that 20-foot side yard easement here?
No.
Okay.
So there's no
So
precedent?
he's gonna be precedent.
Yeah, I don't know every house on that street, so, I mean, this house is
Right.
pretty close to the line and
Both the sides.
based on
Yeah,
that.
and then on the other side also.
Yeah. See, and that was another thing I kept looking at was those two houses there were already pretty doggone close together. Not that, you know,
It's just
his side.
eyeball measurement from your garage to your neighbor's house, roughly how much?
It's probably from, I'd say 30 feet total span right now.
Okay.
Maybe probably like 25, 30 feet, because I'm 15.5.
Yeah.
They're probably somewhere between 10 and 15 from the
I
line
was,
right now.
it was just more of a curiosity question than anything else.
Sure.
You said that they're more like 10 or 15 feet from your guesstimate, from their edge of the house to the property line?
What'd you measure, Jeff?
27 between,
Good eye.
you're in it to the other house, right? Yeah, and then from property line, yeah, 20. That's what he's got, so he said it's close to that.
20.
So in any case, your request is to go to 10 feet.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. Right. Under 50% overall, that piece of it, but you go to 10 feet from the property line.
And we do have that in writing, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on
That's on that piece that you just circled.
Yeah.
wanting to go down to 10 foot.
That's the one that just showed you.
This one here.
16 to 10.
Correct.
Evan, have you had a survey done?
I found all the pins, the lot, and I ran a rope down the west lot line one day and measured. It's somewhere between 15 and a half and 16, depending on where you drop your 420-foot rope.
And how tight that rope is.
Yeah. Which one all branches down on
I will say, I mean, the rest of your application with your drawings and everything are well done. It's just,
They aren't very detailed in,
Well,
From this line to that
detailed in one sense, there's the existing garage and then the new garage on top of it. So, and you don't have lines clearly delineating all the distances.
is there anything else you'd like to offer or make comment on?
Just aside from that, it's gonna match the styling of the house. It's got some brick facing on the front. We're gonna put the brick facing back on the garage. Stucco sides, the metal roof is gonna match, so it's gonna look exactly like the rest of the house.
Any comments from the board or questions from the board?
so, well, I think, from my point of view, we're already looking at a non-approved setback. And now they want to go to 10 foot on a side yard setback.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing like a tandem garage, that like a,
There
to
is.
just avoid all these complications to make.
Yes, there is room in the back. I looked into detached
Yeah,
options.
yeah.
I have a 1-year-old, so being close to the house, we're gonna have more kids. Being attached to the house is gonna be nice, so they can come in and out. And I can still be kind of attached, or I can be with the family when I'm outside working in the garage. So that was what was attractive. We like adding another bathroom with the growing family. And if you do a detached, you end up
No, I'm not talking about the details.
yeah.
Like there is a style like called phantom garage.
Oh, you mean like
Like a L shape, it will be like a L shape. The newer builds is having more. I'm seeing it more these days. So that typically have the very setup of mudroom and also like a good amount of space. Like people use it as even as a small room.
yeah.
So the tandem garage would be like L shape. So you have to park like not like both a car, or two cars this way and one car.
And that would be built in front of the house then?
I think my friend is trying to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to draw them up
Yeah.
and just here.
I can say that too, whatever.
So that's going to actually give you more room for what
See?
you're trying to.
And this is going into the existing
The-
garage, this side.
Yeah.
So
gonna be-
by coming out
You can.
this much on this side,
Then
it's
you have
not
to move your patio.
quite all of that. It's gonna make it the same once
The
this
patio,
addition
like where
in
it is
here
right
is
now.
done.
Yeah, the kitchen's right here.
Yeah,
You got a window coming out of your kitchen.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Look into the garage
I
from the
just-
window, I'm sure your wife would love
As
that.
much as I would like it, yeah.
Just for clarification, you said that you presently can only get one vehicle in your garage now?
It is a, to use the realtor term, it is a 2-car garage. So by the time you put a dog cage on one side, hang some shovels on the other, I gotta have fun pickup. I mean, I can't open the door and get a baby out of the back seat with another vehicle parked inside of the garage.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way they make those garages.
Yep.
Yes.
But, yeah, so you don't know. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get to too originally was, okay, well, what is the width and the depth of this existing garage right now?
20 by 20 inside, if that was the question.
20 by 20?
20,
No,
20 wide by 20 deep,
About
Oh,
400 square
20.
feet.
within a foot back.
That's just barely a two-car garage.
So by the time you move over and put in your mudroom and everything, and then move over on the other side, it looks like you're gonna end up with the same or less width,
Correct.
correct?
In front of the
Yes.
mudroom though, you'll have
Right.
26 feet total, so
In
you'll
front of the mudroom.
I'll probably end up, you probably stagger a couple feet, but
Yeah.
you'll still be able to get both cars out at the same time, open all the doors the whole way.
So you're probably gonna end up in that range beside your mudroom and your bath,
Yeah.
or whatever you wanna call that there, with another 20-foot span.
Yeah. It's 28 total, and you got 6 feet, so it's 22.
2 feet wider. Mr. Beard, do you have a frontal view from the street of the existing along with his neighbors?
I don't know if that means. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Neighbors right up on the lawn.
They have 3 cars, looks like they have 3 car garage. They still park outside.
Thank you. Any other comments you'd like to make?
I don't think so, thank you.
Board? Questions, comments? Would anybody want to entertain a motion either way? I'm going to stick my neck out and make a motion. And my motion to approve this is predicated on 2 things. A, it's farm residential district. B, it isn't within the 50 feet, and that the original side setbacks, which were in the 15 to 20 feet range back 30, 40, 50 years ago, I'll make a motion to approve this. CU 21-11.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Miller to approve conditional use case CU-21-11, seconded by Mr. Shipley. Is it voting Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
No.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Treves?
No?
Ms. Sandar?
I'm sorry, maybe I should have asked this earlier. So are we clear about the setback, how, like the easement, that's one thing I should have asked. And
He wants to take it all the way down to a 10. It's supposed to be 25. Our code right now is 25,
Right.
regardless of what was done before. So he wants to go even more into it to a 10.
No,
From a 20 to a 10.
Well, it's not really from a 20, it's from a 25 to a 10.
Well, the existing.
Because if you,
Based on existing, is what I'm saying.
we can't base on existing because that was out of our purview. We have to base on what our code is right now.
Well, yes, and you have to follow the.
Now, we can't rush in and tell him, okay, well, you got to tear 20 foot of your house down to meet code today.
But you have to follow what the code is asking. The code is, there is a non-conforming section in our code And the non-conforming is, it should not be extended by more than 50% of the size of the non-conforming use that existed at the time of the passage of the zoning resolution.
And Jeff, the side yard setbacks are not in play?
No, because that's part of the non-conforming use.
Okay.
So even here, it's still,
So this,
even here, currently he's at almost 20, or at 15 or 16, going down to 10. That's still less than 50% of going into that setback that he currently has, that is already non-conforming.
non-conforming, that means non-approved, nobody ever looked at it.
It means
No.
it was probably built before zoning was in place.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you
well,
look at the village of Lewis Center, almost
That's
all of
not-
those houses are not conforming, so if they do any additions to their house, they would have to come for a conditional use, which we've had that on a couple occasions.
Based on that, I'd like to change my vote
Okay.
to yes.
Ms. Endar,
Yes.
that motion carries.
I would like to make, and I hope I can still do this, to make sure that it does stay within the 10-foot as written in his request. Okay. Approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. Good luck.
Yes.
Okay, before we go on to the minutes, Mr. Beard, I have a question, a legal question, and I should have asked this when they had the legal training.
We're
We're still
we should be on the
on.
record.
Yeah, we should still be on record. My reason for asking this is actually it was brought up this past week in regards to the legality of Google Map, et cetera. And it was brought up that a Google Map is that drone, for an example, taken directly overhead or to the left or the right or whatever,
To eschew it.
to eschew the photograph. And because of that, is Google Maps and things such as that a true legal representation?
You know, I can ask, I can reach out to legal counsel and ask for sure.
Or the prosecuting officer, we don't have the legal cost, but
I mean, as the last case stated, he stated his house is, the garage was 16 feet. If you measure this to the garage on the auditor site, it shows it's 21 feet.
And that's excused.
So that's the county auditor that has the parcel data, and it's one of the images that we use
Yeah.
when looking at permits.
But clearly,
and
you
site
can,
plans.
you can see the side of that building, so it's askew.
Right, yeah.
If you measured it to just down at the bottom of the foundation there, drop your blue line down a little bit, you know, which may be
to the
the way you're
foundation.
operating it, you might see a more accurate measurement.
If you drop that blue line to the base of the foundation
Right.
instead of the roof line,
Yeah,
16.4.
right. He was going up into the wall, which
Right.
you wouldn't do on an askew, you know, look at something. Because clearly, you're to the left of that because you're seeing into the wall.
but I don't know if it's something that should be asked to the prosecutor's office. I understand that, you know, we have to use the auditor's website as a legal reference, but the question came up, Google Maps or things like that. Is there a legal issue with that?
I mean, looking at it, it's more just for a reference. It's not, it'd just be like us going out and taking a site photo.
Yeah.
So it's just using it as a reference, we're not using the Google photo to measure things. That's why they still have site plans and stuff that they're supposed to submit. This is to kind of show you the layout of that property.
Okay. It's just a legal question, and that's why I'm bringing it up. So. Okay. The minutes.
Did you bring those with you?
No. There was only 3 items, or 2 items that were made reference in the emails that I saw.
I actually read them all this time. There's one line in there that's got something I said and there's a question mark after it, but I can't remember, couldn't figure out for the life of me.
Brett took care.
Oh, he did? Okay, good. I couldn't figure out what I said.
Several, 3 question marks that I had no clue what was missing.
I couldn't figure it out either. So, Brett fixed it for us. Good for you.
I brought up the thing about AG for agricultural,
Yeah,
or capital A, G, instead of small case.
Yeah,
okay, so,
because small case actually is,
Completely different.
what do I want to say?
aggregate?
No, I was going to say atoms. It is a chemical, atomic.
Periodic table, please.
Yeah.
Silver.
You know what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Silver.
Yeah.
Kelvin had 2 of them as well.
These are all for the March meeting?
Yes.
I believe so.
I only had one, but I think it was on line 178. And it just read weird. You didn't have that one on your time.
You have yours from March 4th?
Yep. Line 544.
If you haven't pulled up there.
It's question marks. Right now, it should be corrected to reasonability test within ordinary sensibilities.
Really?
Yeah. I kind of understood why that one wasn't, I had some question marks to it. You want the next one, Joe? No. Okay. Line 968 had 2 of them. One of them was the word mixed. That should be corrected to ethics. And then also the word aspects should be corrected to ethics. And then line 972, there should be detriment in place of the question marks.
Man, you are, you're all over it.
And then you want the other ones as well? Okay. For the combined for,
Just for that one. We'll do it each. So,
okay.
anybody else have anything else for the March 4th meeting?
Go to line 178 on this one. I can't remember which one I was into now. And I kind of looked through that and then got sidetracked. No, it must be the other one. Because Mr. Shipley knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yep, I read it also, and I read it a couple times, and then I just kind of said, okay, whatever. Probably shouldn't have said that, but I did.
The March 21st meeting, would you go to page 2, line 62?
March 4th?
Or March 4th, I'm sorry.
What page did you want to?
Page 2, line 62. I'm trying to remember the verbiage, but being a police power? Does that make sense to y'all, or?
Well, I don't know what doesn't make sense to you then.
Well, Jeff is not,
But it's mentioned below that too by Mr. Griggs.
okay, I'll leave it alone.
Because Jeff is the one that does that.
Any other ones?
That's all I had.
Kelvin?
Just what I sent in.
Just send out?
No,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
Oh, did we go to the other one already?
Well, I'm sorry.
No, we're just doing March 4th.
Oh, that's all we're doing?
Well, we'll do the other ones next, but we gotta have a motion for these first.
Okay, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the the minutes for March 4th, 2021 as amended.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Miller to approve March 4th minutes as amended, second by Ms. Sandar. Those voting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
We'll go to the next set of minutes. Would have been the July 15th minutes.
The short one.
This might have been the one after that line 178.
Yeah.
No, that one didn't go. Where did I read that? I read that. I don't think it had to be the other one, Rick.
This is a short meeting.
I read it though, when you start talking about it. I just don't remember what line it was.
Okay. Whatever. It was,
Read a little weird.
yeah, it really wasn't all that important, and it was kind of like when the conversation was going back and forth, well, do you want to go to them first?
Right.
And everything. And this would give you time, if they said no,
Right.
to change your game and to come back to us, but didn't really read exactly that way, so. We're good.
Any of the board members have comments on this one?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to, I'm Brett.
No, just the one correction I found was my last name misspelled and position description. Should be zoning inspector. Oh, sorry. Just that my last name was spelled incorrectly and my position description is incorrect.
Would you correct your description, please?
So my last name is Wiemken, as in Nancy, and then my position description is zoning inspector.
Zoning inspector.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm absent.
Make a motion?
I move the minutes approved as amended.
I'll second.
That's for July 2nd,
Yeah, July.
or excuse me, July 15th.
Motion made by Mr. Travis to approve July 15th minutes as amended, second by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
I abstain.
Oh, that's right, this is the one she missed.
And then we have the August 19th minutes.
Brett, is that pronounced Wiemken?
Wiemken.
Wiemken.
Just like take out the first E.
Is that German?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're going down the line, what is it, 170 what?
170. Well, I thought it was 178, but I thought he went there on that. Because I went over it so many times and I thought, well, it's not.
Yeah, there you go.
No, and that's not it. It was.
That's the one
okay.
go back up.
Yeah.
Go back up to 175. See, that's the one I read. So it was, that's what I was getting at. Like something from Delaware County soil water is going to be a stopping point if we made allow him to move forward sooner than to wait for next month's meeting if you would get that information. It just read weird to me. It's probably the way I said it.
Yeah, this was different. This was one of, that would give him more time. And then you said, well, we don't want to hold him up.
I remember having that conversation in here with him.
Yeah,
That was
well,
why we were doing the,
I think it
approval
was
conditional.
before 175.
Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, I remember having that.
And yeah, it was just stated weird. But it's not a big thing either way. It's not like,
It wasn't incorrect. It wasn't just.
I don't think it was incorrect.
Incorrect, I would say something.
Yeah.
Brett, do you have anything?
Only corrections I have for this, again, is my last name and position description.
Who keeps screwing that up?
I actually have someone here. So for 21, well, this is 2109, I did not have any corrections for that case. For 2107,
Oh, you're doing the whole thing?
yeah,
Oh, okay, I got a couple more. Go ahead.
line 41 should be that it will not have a footer. So the word not was left
yeah.
out. And then
No. Go back to that one again now?
they said that they would not have a footer.
Yeah.
Further on the wall.
Yeah.
No, I will have a footer on it.
So it should be, it will not have a footer.
Yeah,
Because he's referring to the retaining wall above it.
and that was one that I couldn't see how he could not have a footer, but.
And then for 2108, I have line 13. It says there's a correct, should be correction, not correct. To the staff report. And line 18 should just be,
It should be 3'7". Right now it says 3 foot, and then it has the other apostrophes behind it. And then in line 22, it should be replaced with, my previous house had the same dimensions with an open fire space, so it went with what we had then, with the 16 feet by 18 feet dimensions. And then again, for that last case, my last name was spelled incorrectly.
You
Again,
need to change the spelling of your name.
I know. Mistake, my fiance's last name is Miller.
Well, my last name is adopted, so.
There you go. I do have another correction. Yes, line 52 there, question mark should be drainage easement. And then on that same case for line 21, the address should be 6040 Weeping Rock, not 6050.
Weeping Rock.
Weeping Rock. Yep.
We're gonna have to keep you, Brett.
That'd be nice.
He's listening to the tapes.
Yeah.
Well, they say this is a very tough job as far as reading something and catching mistakes in it.
Yeah.
Because they said you can take a paragraph and misspell every word, but you
People
can
read
read through it, know exactly what's being said, and it's just the way the brain works. So it's really hard to catch the mistakes.
Anybody have anything else to add?
Anybody else, any changes or revisions?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 19th.
As amended.
I'll second.
motion made by Mr. Shipley to approve August 19th minutes as amended, second by Mr. Oster. Is voting Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Krebs?
Yep.
Ms. Sandar?
Yes.
And just to confirm, our October meeting is October 14th.
I will not be here for that meeting. It will be Mr. Wimpkin and Ms. Bonnie will be here.
October 14th.
There will be 3 cases that evening.
At 6 p.m.
Mr. Wimpkin's gonna be running the whole thing.
October what?
October 14th.
I think, yeah, that's the first to the third day.
October 14th.
Makes it the third.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Meeting adjourned.
Any of the architect from the last case that you mentioned?